Guys, and welcome to another episode of Dynasty Talk with Sam. Today, I'm here to do 5 must-have Week 4 trade targets. Stick around. I'm going to give you some great stats and just a good list of names of guys to go get in your Dynasty League that I think now is the right time to buy moving forward. So here's the intro, and catch you after it. So yeah, let's get it kicked off with 5 must-have Week 4 trade targets. And the first guy that we're going to talk about today is going to be someone that was super hyped going into the season. And I just still think I've seen enough, whether it's his tape, and I'm just not worried. And that's going to be Jaxon Njigba, right? I mean, we all had him, or most of us had him as our rookie wide receiver one coming into the season. And I think we all saw some sort of slow start coming, with DK and Tyler Lockett being there. I don't think anyone thought JSN was going to step into immediate production. Now, 2.8 points, 5.9 points, 1.5 points, that is completely horrendous. And no one was projecting that. But for me, they still haven't had their bye week. That's coming up in a couple weeks. And I think I'm just confident that moving forward, especially coming out of the bye, JSN is someone that I'm just really not concerned about. The talent is there. And I think we've seen that DK and Lockett can both be productive in Seattle. So I think someone will start to get phased out as JSN starts to get phased in more. Something I think I'd be using to move to get JSN would be someone who is a younger receiver that's maybe started off hot. Someone like Michael Pittman, maybe. Someone who's a little younger. Maybe you can use someone that has started off with a couple good games this season to go get JSN. Maybe someone's concerned. Maybe you can move a first-round pick for him, just a single first. These are all ideas I think I'd be kicking around, and I would definitely reach out to the guy with JSN to see if he's interested in getting off him just because of the slow start. Number 2 is a guy that I love to talk about. This is Tyjae Spears of the Tennessee Titans. From week 1, 54 snap percentage is incredible. That is higher than I think any of us thought he might be by the end of the season. So to be having an over a 50% snap share in 2 games to start the year off, basically 2 out of 3, I think Tyjae is in for a good year eventually. Henry just seems a step slow. I don't know if it's slow or if the Titans are just that bad. Maybe it's a combination of both. So I definitely don't think Tyjae is going to immediately become an RB1. But I think the fact that they're trusting him with this many snaps and this many touches this early on in his career is a good sign moving forward, especially if they move off Henry next year like we think they may. He could definitely start to become at least flex-worthy, maybe RB2 worthy if the Titans offense can turn it around. I'm not saying they've had the toughest schedule so far, but I do think New Orleans and Cleveland are 2 of the better defenses we've seen through 3 weeks. The Chargers aren't a great defense, but that was his best game. I mean, 6.5 points isn't crazy, but it's good for an RB2 on your own team. So moving forward, if he can get some more touches, he can score a couple touchdowns, and that Titans offense can become a little less atrocious, I think Spears could be in for a pretty solid season or just a good buy now at the moment. I think I'd definitely be confident moving a second-round pick for him. That may be all it's going to take. Maybe a wide receiver, a Rashee Rice if you're trying to go from wideout to running back. Something in this range. I'm not going crazy. I'm not trading first-round picks for Spears or anything. But he's had low enough production, and I think there's enough potential that he's a guy I'd be targeting. Next is going to be someone who's a little higher tiered up, but that's Jaylen Waddle. Just such a slow start for the NFL's number 1 offense, right? Miami is going off, right? Multiple running backs with 40 points. And Waddle missed a game. He didn't score in either of the first 2 games. He's been outplayed by Tyreek Hill a ton, which is going to keep happening. Tyreek Hill is an amazing player. So I just think there might be a tiny, tiny window on Waddle right now. And if you're able to get him for maybe a rookie that's popped, like Zay Flowers or something in that range, maybe you can get him for Flowers in a second, or I'd be comfortable paying that price just because I think Miami has shown that they're going to be a very potent offense. So moving forward, Waddle's going to be a part of that. I'm really not too concerned. And once he's back from the injury, which is a concussion, which, is never something you root for, but it's definitely better than a knee or an ankle as terms of missing games within a season. So I think Waddle's someone whose production is going to turn on pretty quickly. And 2 weeks from now, Waddle could be a wide receiver 1 both weeks, and the window to go get Waddle is going to be completely gone. And that offense isn't slowing down anytime soon. And teams are going to start taking away the running backs. They're going to start taking away Tyreek Hill a little more. And I think it's going to leave Waddle one-on-one. And I think he's going to have some good games. Next, I'm going to do a QB and a tight end paired together. This QB is not someone I would be acquiring in a 1 QB league, but in a 2 QB league, super flex, I think it's someone that after 2 of these 3 performances that have just been absolute stinkers, I think you may be able to get Danny Dimes of someone who's just completely over him. I saw him go up on the trade block in one of my leagues just with a guy with the note that just said, I'm done, right? I'm done with Danny Dimes. I don't want him on my team anymore. And after 2 4-point performances, I totally get it. But Dallas and San Francisco are 2 of the better teams in this league, especially 2 of the better defenses. So you weren't really expecting Danny Dimes to go off in either of those games. Now, of course, would you like him to perform better? Yes. But he's a quarterback 2. He's a quarterback 3. He's not supposed to be your Patrick Mahomes. I still think he has weekly upside, as we've shown from his game against Arizona, where he ran for 59 yards and a touchdown and dropped 30 points. Like, he can do that. He's one of the few quarterbacks that has the ability to run for 50 yards and a touchdown every week. And that's something that you really can't pass on when you're looking for quarterback 2 upside. A guy that can really win you a week from the quarterback 2 position is not something that's easy to find. So to pair with Danny Dimes, I think Darren Waller is someone who just is off to a slow start. The targets have mostly been there. I just think the Giants have kind of looked out of sync. And I think they're going to start putting it together a little bit. Their schedule is going to ease up a bit. It's still not the easiest schedule, as they have the Eagles twice, Dallas again. But tight end's tough, and I think Waller has better days ahead of him. Dimes, I'd still be comfortable paying a first for. Waller, probably a second. These ones are a little tougher to put prices on. Superflex leagues, tight end premium leagues, you never really know what people are going for. But I think I would be asking around and see if people are just done with these guys. And I would be looking to acquire them for some assets, at Geno for Danny Dimes, something in that range. And Darren Waller, I think, might be easier to buy with picks. But maybe you could get him for like Cade Otton in a third, or, some younger tight end with a little hype. But I just think they're guys that are going to look better in a couple of weeks, and you're going to want them on your team for when they start looking better. And the last guys I think I'm going to acquire, I'm going to do another 2 set, and that's Kenny Pickett and Pat Freiermuth. Very similar to, the Giants argument, is that I just think Kenny Pickett has some better games ahead of him. I'm realizing now that I have totally the wrong set on here. I have Dallas. I have Danny Dimes numbers. But you can go look up Kenny Pickett, right? Kenny Pickett had a good game against Vegas. It was his best game of the year so far. And that's something that I'm counting on. Their schedule gets easier. And I think they just off to a slow start. And I think he's starting to connect a little bit. He's in that quarterback 2 range. He's definitely not a quarterback 1. And I'm going to say the same thing with Pat Freiermuth, right? He's going to start off slow, but as Pittsburgh starts to connect on some of these weapons, they start to score some more points. I think I would be confident with these guys turning their season around just a little bit. And I would be comfortable buying them just to get on my team, whether it's depth pieces. Freiermuth could potentially be a tight end 1. I definitely think I'd want someone else around. But I just think this is something that, moving forward, their price will go up. And it's in a little dip now that you might just get a good deal on them, I'm not really trying to go crazy with either of these guys. And I don't necessarily think they're league winners. But they're cheaper now than they were a month ago. And those are definitely people that you want to look into when you're trying to acquire them, right? Is you're trying to buy a dip in value when you're trying to get someone. So those are 5 must-have week 4 trade targets. Definitely this list could have been longer. We all know there's tons of guys you could go get right now. But these are 5 or 7 if you want to count the last as 2 each, that I think are good targets, especially those first couple, JSN, Waddle, and Tyjae Spears. I would love to go get all 3 of those guys right now, just at cost. And I think they're really going to help your team out. So thanks for tuning in. Good luck in week 4, and I wish you the best.